Well, I know all three of you are busy people, very successful people. So we will go ahead and get started. And hopefully more people will start to come in. All right. Okay, so thank you again for joining this virtual panel discussion. So the first question, well, what this panel discussion is, for anyone who's going to be watching the replay, this is a virtual panel discussion on creating and maintaining multiple streams of income. So you're going to be hearing from people who have created multiple streams of income and who have successfully done it. And I know that that is a goal of a lot of you to have multiple streams of income and diversify your wealth portfolio, et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to hear about how that is done from three very successful people today. So let's go around and introduce ourselves. I guess we can start with the lady, Miss Erin.
Sure. Hey, everybody. My name is Erin Crochet, and I'm widely known as Lady Erin Love. I am a business and life strategist. I offer coaching and consulting services. Most of my clients are with the government, and I am doing some work with small businesses as well. I love to help people build capacity, scale themselves, and facilitate that building a dynamic team and delegation so that they can have a well. Glad to be here.
Okay. Thank you, Erin. Antoine, would you like to go next?
Hello, everybody. My name is Antoine. I'm a consultant, but I'm also a professor at North Carolina A&T State University.
Aggie Pride.
Over the years, I've been a consultant for over 10 years. I've helped build about 300 businesses over that time frame, and gain equity in different businesses and really use my brain as my biggest source of wealth and revenue streams.
Okay, David.
All right, how y'all doing? Now, just like y'all, I got a lot of streams of income. So when you say give it a title, I'm like, ooh, how to do this?
Right, you gotta figure out which ones you gonna put out there, huh?
What I can tell you right now is I'm a healer. First and foremost, I love hospitality. And I'm a chef, so that includes retreats. That also includes me, healing your phone too, because I'm a computer science major, and on paper I'm a network engineering, but I don't do anything of those sorts. And from there, I started off with a tech company in college. So I could fix anything with a power button. But I also help people heal from cancer and diabetes. So we just keep going on from here.
Okay.
And I really just, the main focus is my ability to take somebody from one level and take them to the next. And that could be your business, your health, your wealth, credit. I help prepare credit and help you, all types of stuff. It just keeps on going. And I think that's the point of us being here.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so we're not gonna waste any more time. We're just gonna go ahead and hop right into it because I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say. I'm excited to learn from you guys. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right. So the first question. Well, the question that we all want to know: how many streams of income do you have, and how long did it take you to build these income streams? Not all at once. Oh, take your time. I know David over there, he got to tally some up. Antoine, don't be modest. He know, but it's a lot. He trying to act like he got to think. He know off the top of his head.
So I'll go. So currently I have 4 streams of income. And for me, I spent the last year actually revamping my company, my services and solutions. I once was a serialpreneur. I created and built my companies from the ground up and started about 6 or 7 years ago where I decided I wanted to do e-commerce while I was doing consulting. And from there, I decided that, with the e-commerce, I like to provide holistic care and solutions. So with that, I had everything from the health, the finance, in addition to that, different e-commerce solutions for people to buy different products and services online. And that's what really started my multiple streams of income. Um, and it really grew and it expanded. And again, like I said, I had no blueprint. I was just doing what I thought worked well. Of course, times have really changed with launching and all of these different methodologies that you all see on social media. But a lot of my work was pretty much grassroots, and a lot of that was face to face. And what I decided to do online, I was not the face of my company. I was pretty much behind the scenes. So again, as I mentioned earlier, I've spent the last year rebranding and modernizing my solutions for me to actually be the face of my company online. So currently, over the course of this last year and a half, I literally shut I shut down 90% of my business solutions that was online, just to rebuild it in a better, leaner, more fashionable way to where I'm the face of the company. So, it's been 7 years and growing, but excuse me, I had this tickle in the throat. But for the last year and a half, you know, I've been able to rebuild and add, three streams. So I currently have four streams of revenue coming in at this point. And they are, in a place in the stage where they are sustainable. And that's where I am right now.
Okay.
I guess I'll go next. Right now, I have about 14 streams of income. Because if you count me being a professor, I'm a community development. At a community development bank, I'm actually an entrepreneur analyst. So they pay me to review entrepreneurs' applications to see if what they'll need for funding, if they're ready for funding. I have equity in 7 other businesses, which brings me to 9. I host conferences. My regular clients in consulting, speaking events, and then I actually invest in odd people. Most people consider odd things. So, for example, there are versions of comic books you can buy for $3, right? 2 days later, they're valued $30. If that were a stock or anything else like that, everyone would jump all over it, right? But finding those niche areas too, where in a way you're flipping things, provides another separate stream. And then I invest in the stock market and stuff as well.
So is that more like the collectibles market, or would it be more so the resellers market?
Comics will be in the collectibles market. And actually most of them will be collectibles. So when you think about comics, rare coins, stuff like that, they're all technically in the collectibles market.
Okay. Mr. David?
I couldn't wait to go. I got a Gemini moon with a Libra ascendant. So that means I got a lot to say, okay?
Oh, goodness. Bring the heat. Bring the heat.
But one thing about streams of income is just about being yourself. And one thing about me, I started with, coming out of high school with a computer system. I knew how to fix people's computers for viruses. So that was like, 2006. From there, I started learning how to work with phones. And the only way I got there was working for free. I had offered my services for free at this tech company. From there, I learned how to fix the iPhone 4. Okay. Once I seen it,
iPhone 4. I forgot those things existed. There was an
exactly.
iPhone 4?
From there, I wound up, putting it directly on my resume, faked it till I made it. Next thing you know, I got a computer job working with phones and computers. Now, I got the computers, I could do that, but the phones, I so it just continued to grow. And everything that I love to do, I wound up making a service to the people because that's some skill that I had. Okay. So from there, I wound up, I was in computer science. I learned how to wire up buildings. And next thing you know, I start offering on my resume that I can actually come wire up their buildings because this is what I'm doing. So it's like a trend because from there, everything that I started loving, I studied it and found a way to present this service to the people. So now we got to talk about my journey. I don't know if y'all really got time for all this, but
We ready for
to answer the question, I got about 6, 7 streams of income solid, that we can really get the business with right now. And it just go from my IT journey to that grew into learning about the body and how to get my people healthy because I ain't want to lose my mama now. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
I lost my grandparents to cancers. So I've naturally gravitated towards, well, my mama not going to die from cancer, okay? And we're going to figure this out. So I learned about Dr. Fabi. And as I'm just this type of person, like I said earlier, that's going to take you from this level to the next, I naturally wanted to put my people on and say, well, you should try this because it works. If you want to, you can find it on, this website. And after doing it enough of seeing all this business to this website, I'm like, well, you can just get it for me. You know what I'm saying? And next thing I'm helping people heal from things, diabetes and, high blood pressure because it's real easy. It's natural herbs.
I can vouch for his herbs. I've had his herbs. Which pack was it that I've had? I know it was like the Simply Super Herb pack. Yes. Yes.
Yes. So, after enough of giving that product to everybody, that product's reached the whole country and internationally. And after enough of people just coming back with the most amazing testimonies, oh my God, I can have kids again. Or I haven't been off of high blood pressure medicine in forever, and I don't need it anymore. After enough testimonies and stuff like that, that turned into like a big thing where people start coming to me from all over the world. And then I started doing retreats. And you're going to come to me, I'm going to make it where you can do this, do that. And I started incorporating the hospitality into it. Like I told you, I love hospitality. I'm a chef. So, now you can come to my retreats and you can eat, get some herbs, and, have a great time, in nature because I'm also an herbalist, shaman, and it just keeps on going, and everything that I do as I'm trying to uplift people, whether it be divination, whether it be, spell work, prosperity, or the opposite, or whether it be, teaching you about knowledge of self. There's a lot of different sciences that our ancestors gave to us that I teach people about. And, our people are really, really curious about our sciences. And what, that it's exchange. You have to pay people for your time. You know what I'm saying? So people pay me for my time and the things that I learned on my journey that I love to do. I was interested in herbs. I was interested in computers. I was interested, in spiritual, how to heal my body. I was interested in what my ancestors learned too. And on this journey, I've created all these different ways to teach what I've learned and, help people. And it's all centered in some type of service and giving of your heart. So that's how I get it.
Okay. Okay. I'm scared of y'all. We got a good little panel here. Whew. I mean, we only got through question one, and I'm just like, woo. All right. Let's get to question number two. Okay, so you started your first stream of income, which some of you already kind of started to touch on a little bit, but you started your first stream of income. Okay. What made you decide, all right, it's time for me to move on to the second stream of income? And then from the second stream of income, it's time for me to move on to the next one. So what's that decision process like? What made you decide to move from one income stream to the next? What made you feel like you were ready?
Are you? Is it anybody? Oh.
Go ahead.
Yeah, for me, it seems like a natural thing. There's certain things that came up. Like during the COVID season, you can tell that there was going to be a lot of people that need those masks, and there's a natural thing that goes off inside of you that said there's going to be a demand for that, and you have to be able to keep the instincts up to be able to know when to provide the supply to that demand. And that is something that just happens. You just have to have the creativity and to be able to hear yourself and to hear the inventions within you and the opportunities around you. So that stuff comes every day. It's really about being able to follow your swing from the things you do create.
I like that. I like that.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. I would also say seeing the need and hearing from my clients, listening to my clients, and hearing what they are expressing that they are needing. Also having the capacity to deliver on whatever that solution is, and having the capital, being able to scale and provide whatever that solution is in excellence. So those are some of the things that I think about when adding, streams to my services and solutions.
Okay. Okay.
I think in the beginning for me, when it came to why I started building additional streams of income, is I realized that our relationship with money was wrong. Right? I realized that we're often taught time is money. Right?
Yeah.
If you look at that, and anybody who knows me knows I bring up a calculator all the time. Right?
Do you even need one?
Sometimes. But I look at a lot of things like math equations, right? And if we say time is money, that means time equals money, right? And I realized how false that was, and how the belief that time equals money was in a way a restraint and a bond on our creativity, a restraint and a bond that kept us looking at life from the wrong perspective, right? And it's like I tell my students, actually, when I teach entrepreneurship, that money is a measurement system. And money measures the amount of goods someone is willing to give you for the value you've already delivered them, right? So when I began to look at it and analyze it that way, it became more of a question of how do I bring value to those around me, right? Sasha, when I talk about purpose, I always harp on the fact that purpose has less to do with you and more to do with your contribution to society and those around you, right? And I realized that if I could plant seeds, right, and reap off the value seeds and the fruit they bring later, then I wasn't constrained to a job title. I wasn't constrained to any of these other things, right? And I realized that we are multifaceted beings. So there's multiple ways for us to bring value, but we limit ourselves. The true question is how do you maximize your value, and how do you maximize your time at the same time? And when I started looking at it like that, I always looked at it again like an equation. How do I balance both sides of the equation between time and the value I'm bringing, so other individuals are willing to sow into me for the value I've brought them? You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that is why how my streams grew, really. I started doing consulting work. I wanted it always to be a social consulting business. And at first, I began to look at it from a standpoint of helping minority businesses. And when I got into investing, I thought about average costing, right? Where if a stock goes down, you buy more of it, so your average price is lower, right? And I decided to do what I call average profit. So for every big client I would get a smaller client. But there were still clients in my community that still couldn't afford the services. And that's how I got into equity contracts.
Okay.
And it began to grow in looking at life from a value perspective. And the more I did, the more I realized how I fit into that. And it was more like fitting myself in life's puzzle instead of me trying to create a whole separate dynamic.
Okay. Man, I ain't got no pen or paper around. Take notes. Shoot. Okay, okay. Let's move on. So, question number 3. Now, some of you have kind of already answered this as well. But were you hands off before moving on to the next income stream, or were you still kind of hands on? I know some of you, your businesses were intertwined with each other, so you didn't really have to be as hands off. But for the income streams that are kind of different from one another, were you more hands off before moving on?
Well, what I realized is that, coming from the IT perspective at first, it was a lot of hands on them devices and a lot of risk involved with those parts that came in and out. There's a lot of moving parts involved with that profit margin. And it took a lot of shipping and handling and receiving for them parts from China, working with the IT services and stuff like that. So naturally, my products did grow into things like herbs where I can just send it to you. And when you send me the money, I could send it to you in packaging and, it'll take a couple days handling. So naturally, yes, my products did become more of a sitting from home and making money, because now I'm selling classes where I can teach you how to grow marijuana, which is a huge industry. And yes, my products have now become more so, I could also fix your credit, for $500, a clean sweep. And that's another thing you're doing from home. And it's like COVID actually showed you how, you're going to have to evolve your products from a point where you can be able to present services from a distance. And, people who were already on top of that shift and already inside of that energy really was able to take advantage of the big wave that came.
Okay. Whoever wants to go next.
For me, I look at my revenue streams and kind of hands on and hands off I am with them. Um, like I said, I look at it in a very much analyzing and using my time, right? And you have a max number of hours a day, right? And I looked at it as if I had a jar and I had large rocks, medium sized rocks, sand, and water, right? If you think about it, if you put the sand and water in first, you can't put the bigger things in. You know what I mean? So I began to analyze what was my biggest revenue stream. For me, it's my consulting clients. I get most of my revenue from consulting. I began to wrap my other revenue streams around it. So the consulting was, say, my big rocks, right? Being a professor and entrepreneur and analyst is my slightly smaller rocks. And it slowly, if I shake that jar enough, fills up those gaps, right? And then as I add in more things, the smaller the thing, the more passive and less time it needs to take for me. So the less revenue it brings in, the less time I get it. So even though I have the classes and everything else, those are very passive. You buy them, they're very hands off, right? But even though I'm providing a service, I'm slightly different because my highest paying clients are the clients that I have to sit down with. So if I have to sit with you, that's going to cost a whole lot more, right? And I wrap everything around that and try to fill that jar up. It's a time jar, that jar up, and then knowing when I'm at capacity. So that's another huge thing, which is why I smile when Aaron said capacity. Is that another thing is you have to know your capacity. If you don't know your capacity, you can have the best ideas ever and run your life ragged because you don't know how to strategize your time and your capacity.
Okay. Okay.
That's so good, Antoine. You just passed the baton. Because considering that we're in, the same industry with the consulting, consulting is my largest bucket. And, I provide services to the government. And I also provide services to small business. Whereas I provide services to the government, that requires me to go out, be on the front end and set things up. And then from there, I can take my hands off when I put the right team in place and delegate and, allow someone else to take on, carrying out that business. And then I'm you know, just pretty much overseen with small business, considering that this is a new space that, I'm creating more focused work in. It is requiring more hands on because I'm creating those programs, I'm forming those solutions. Um, so there's that juggle of the hands off, hands on. Where for the most part, it's more hands on the front end, when you're putting in those systems and those practices in place. And, for me, I have a team. So, knowing who can source and fill the different roles, that really helps me to be less hands on. But I'm all about delegating, y'all. Like, my capacity it's vital. I have to make sure that I'm taking care of me. And also another reason is I'm a new mom, so
congrats.
It's just like totally different. I have a 2-year-old, but prior to me having this new baby, I was like 10 toes in. Just here and there. So, I do things in a different, just a different approach nowadays. And capacity is, one of those big things because I give the total package when I provide solutions. So with that, I've had to learn that, I have to just frame what those services and solutions look like as far as what my time commitment is for the different solutions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, okay. Next question. What things should you consider before starting a new income stream?
Um, so, so back to capacity is one that solution. Is there a market for it? Is there an interest in what it is that you're looking to offer? Do you have the funds to launch it? Do you have the team have identified the roles and responsibilities of what will be required to launch that stream and roll it out there on a solid foundation so that it is sustainable. So those are some of the things I consider.
Okay, good answer. Good answer.
I definitely, before I start another stream of income, it's certain things that has to have about it to fit in my life. Because I didn't get so used to this lifestyle that if you require me to go out there and run and go get it, it's probably not gonna make it. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, because I can make a ton of money using my excuse me, using my creative abilities to be able to just resources and meeting supply and demand. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me. I be learning. Excuse me. So that's another thing. That's another thing. That's something that I love to do. I have to do that because I make all the money that I need to make.
Okay.
Okay. If you want to learn how to grow your own, I have a course in that as well. It's only $100.
I can't. Leave it to David to bring the rawness.
I'm gonna keep it so real because you can really be your authentic self out here and really make your own way.
Uh-huh.
Be able to make your own money.
Uh-huh.
No, but for real, what I really look forward to as a streaming income to really make it into something that I'll promote, is something that I really care about. Like, if there's something that people is really gonna help somebody, I know people need it. If somebody gonna really need to lose weight, everybody on this panel needs to lose weight. I'm gonna tell you right now, I would be selling a service that everybody needs. You know what I'm saying? I got some healthy herbs. Everybody on this panel needs healthy herbs. You know what I'm well, so it's like what do people need and how much does it cost to start up? If it costs me nothing to start up, I would love to get into that. What is the profit margin? people who go out there and sell things and they make $10, for a whole bunch of work. When there's products that you can sell, you can just sell it and make $100 for nothing. So it's about how much work you got to put in. How much money it takes to start. How many people it needs to run the business.
Okay.
I think for me, when it comes to starting the business, right, you have to look at too, how deep am I going to really get into it? Like there's different levels of every industry. Like I mentioned earlier, am I a seller and reseller, right? Am I going to be a coach or a guru? Am I trying to be an expert in this industry? Am I a supplier, right? Each one of these things has a different level of time that's needed. And when you're starting any business, you need strategy, creativity, and resources, right? You really need two out of those three, right? A lot of times we focus on the resources part and try to pair it with strategy or resource and try to pair it with creativity, right? But the moment it needs all three, I need to look at that opportunity differently. That making sense?
Yeah.
And when we're doing that, I evaluate that part when starting a new income stream and looking at the standpoint of how much is it really going to take. And again, how much time. You know what I mean? Every business takes research. So how much knowledge do I also need to jump into this industry?
Okay. Okay. All great answers. All great answers. So the next question I have for you guys. Okay, so when you get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and move to this next stream of income, what are some things that you would do to your previous or your current stream of income to make sure that it's running smoothly while you build your new stream?
Things like websites, things like social media platforms, automating the process. And this ties into, which one of these streams of income are you choosing? Because the car wash, that thing just run. And you just make money, you keep the bills paid, you can maybe pay a couple workers, maybe maintenance, but that's something that is just going to keep on going.
Okay.
Good. Yeah, same here. I look at the infrastructure, automate where I can, put those processes in place, and also, delegate, make sure that there's someone that's there looking at it, looking at the data, looking at where those clients are coming from, and make sure that we're targeting.
Okay.
Like everyone else said, automation is huge. I always look at infrastructure, automation, and integration. So infrastructure is definitely huge. How's it going to get done? The automation, how hands off can I get it? We're in the age of technology, right? When can I pass off technology and not have to pay anybody else to do it, right? But also integration. How well does it integrate with everything else that I'm doing? Because I think the biggest problem people have with creating multiple income streams is that they're all in separate directions. So it's like tying a horse to your hands, a horse to each hand, a horse to each leg, and a horse to your head.
That's
right?
a good point.
Smacking all of them on the butt and making them run in every direction, right?
Uh-huh.
It's going to tear you apart, right? But if I can get 3 or 4 horses that are equally yoked in the same direction, now I can get to the end game, the end journey, that destination, that future I want to get to a lot faster. And that's why I think integration is a major part we have to add into that.
Okay. Okay.
So I have a little bit more to add to that.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I look for before I move on, one thing I'm struggling with as somebody who's such a hospitable person is the common touch. I love delivering the plate, to the people and looking at their face as they eat their food. It's more of a fulfillment that I get when I help people heal from something somebody else told them they couldn't get rid of. It's more of a thing where it's like finding a balance between tied into your love and what you're doing, because essentially that's what you're gonna need in longevity and wanting to actually wake up and do this. What's gonna actually pour your time away from your babies upstairs. and it's like you always want to be tied into somewhere, you know, you can put it down, but it's your love. You want to move on, but it's still something that's just so a part of you that you wake up and think about it. So it's like everything that I do, it's like I wound up investing in people who think like that and think about that service the same way that I do that. I'll invest into them and they'll create more. And it's like you really don't leave it, but you're able to move on to another one by investing in people and making sure that it's something that you can automate.
Okay. Okay. We got about two or three more questions here. We are doing pretty good so far. Um, so this is going to be a true or false question, or agree or disagree question, and of course you can add your own insight and tell why you agree or disagree. So here's the statement: you should meet a specific target revenue goal before moving on to the next income stream. True or false? And by meet a specific target revenue goal, meet that in your current income stream before moving on to another one.
That's false. Because if you miss your mark, it's over with. If you missed Viagra when they first came, you didn't invest in that company. If you missed Bitcoin, if you missed Facebook, I'm telling you, you missed your little mark. I mean, you can jump into it, but you missed a whole ton of that.
Put on here.
Were you going?
Were you about to say something? Can you hear me?
Aaron?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. He was asking if you were going to say something.
Oh no, I was waiting my turn.
Oh, okay, got you.
Also, before I start, I want to apologize. I'm actually looking at land as well right now. So I'm in an empty, like 100-acre plot. So that's why you see other people walking around. It's people actually in the area who use this land to walk through at times. Of course, if I buy it, I'm gonna put some fences up. But
no trespassing. Beware of dogs.
Listen, you keep walking, baby. You don't have to walk around. You can walk through here. It's a pond back there too.
Yep. I know that's right.
And that's the other thing. With my income streams, I try to do them with purpose, right? And one of the things I'm getting more and more into is everyone talks about safe spaces, right? But it's always a coffee shop or something else. But we always also joke as African Americans that sometimes we have to question where we go and if it's going to be safe and how we can travel, right? And I want people to be able to go, you can see it, and go to the mountaintops and sit down, have that time, right? While still feeling safe. So it definitely is on the income stream. But in regards to the question, I believe it's false, right? I see my life as a plate, and I have to balance out how much food is on that plate at a time, right? And some things are going to take longer to develop. Okay? So when you think about the development process and that product cycle time or the service cycle time, I look at a standpoint of me really understanding and becoming a student to my dreams and a student to that new income stream and understanding how long is it going to take me to build this. If it's something that's going to take a while, as somebody who cooks as well, that's something that's about to slow simmer on the back burner, right? And if it's going to be something more immediate, doesn't mean I'm not going to work on it. I think you have to divide your time up properly to be able to handle that. And oftentimes individuals, we always say go all in, right? Dive all in, both feet, right? And you have to make sure you're developing things properly to have a competitive advantage. Mm-hmm. We wait on something, and a lot of our biggest dreams take the longest time, right? So I always say it's like being at the bottom of a stairwell, okay? Everyone wants to jump to the top of the stairs. But if we step on every step, we're making more progress with less energy and less time, right? But furthermore, if you can make money at every step, we got a whole new ball game at that point.
Well,
right?
You saying something.
And I'm an advocate for taking steps, creating a process, developing the skills you need for your bigger dream, but monetizing those skills along your journey.
Okay. Okay. Miss Aaron.
I love how Antoine just mutes when he's done. Like, I'm out.
Right. I love it. Like, not go ahead. Next person, just boop, mute. Oh goodness.
Good, that's good. So actually, for me, from my perspective, true. I believe that it's true. And as a project manager, I believe in paralleling my different efforts and having pipelines to my different streams of revenue. But when I start a project, when I start a business or a different stream, there's a target goal for revenue. There is something that I believe that I need to hit. And before I launch out or start that next phase, because all of my companies work together, I believe that, I need to hit that goal so that it can fund, that next thing. So from my perspective, I see that as true for me for those reasons. Because, like I said, they all work together. And to fund that next thing, whatever that is, I need to have those funds in place or that capital in place, and also know that, hey, this is viable. It'll continue to grow, but I've generated what I desire to generate from there. I've hit that goal, and now I can move on to the next.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I do want to add something too, and it's for the consultant side of me and startup side of me. It's more true for beginners too.
Mm-hmm.
And when I do startup consulting, I deal with this a lot. Is that when people are first starting up their first income stream with their first one or two of them, right? They're probably more scattered than in any other part of the process. And when you first start your first one or two, you got to pour it all in.
Yeah.
You begin to grow and you're adding those side streams. That's maximizing your free time to be able to do multiple things. Because a lot of times, especially in our community, right? We turn around and we don't, because we don't knock things out, because we're forgetting, we don't progress. And it's a conversation a lot of people don't want to have. Is because we're doing so many things at the same time, right? And you're not a master of any of it.
Yes.
They pay you for expertise. They pay you for mastery.
Yes.
So we're becoming a master of any of it. And at that point, you can't really charge for it. That's why people have a problem with creating income streams, really, is you're a novice trying to charge for a service, right? And you're not taking the time to become a master of that service.
Yes.
And in the beginning, it is very true. I think at the point that many of us are, we're able to do it also because we bought the dream. I tell my students and my clients, don't sell me a dream you ain't bought yet.
It's a good thing. It's a lot of people not on this call right now, because if there was, they would have left. They would have left right now. Because you're preaching.
You what you told me, whether or not you want me to here.
You ain't have to come hardcore with the truth like that now.
The truth is the only way we progress. And I think we sugarcoat it so much, and we paint the entrepreneurial journey as such a fantasy land and a joyous process, right? And don't emphasize the educational part. That's why I think we give up on it.
Mm-hmm.
People are trying and they're trying and they're trying. And they're trying to figure out why it doesn't work, right? And there's a level of buy-in everybody has to have to be able to make it work. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not fun. It is not fun all the time. It's fun when we deliver the services, right? But the whole process, you're building an empire. And being king or being queen is not just about what you get from it. It's about the responsibilities that come with it.
Yes. Yes. There we go with that mute thing. Okay, let's see. I think we got one more question. Yep, this is the last. Wait, hold up. Okay, last question. Last question for today. All right. So, are your income streams ranked in order of importance? How do you prioritize them?
So for me, I have buckets. I have buckets of work, and there are those high ticket solutions that I offer, and then there are those low ticket solutions that I offer. And I balance them and prioritize them based on how much time it requires of my physical presence and attention. So for me, yeah, they are ranked in order of priority, um, um, in order of importance, and also the return on the investment of the time that I'm giving, as well as the value that my client gets as well.
Okay. Okay. Great answer.
For me, I always say that we all have to identify our pursuit, right? Some people, they say their pursuit is money. For me, my pursuit is freedom and legacy. So whenever a new opportunity comes up, especially on the income stream level, right? I look and see how does it wage and how much does it actually get me closer to what I'm pursuing and what I'm truly pursuing. And I'll use that to evaluate things.
Okay.
For me, I prioritize the things that I'm doing based upon how much I love doing it. You know, and I balance that with how much money it brings in. And it just so happened that it would be the retreat business because I'm able to tie in the cooking. It brings in the most money, and it's what I enjoy doing the most. So I prioritize that one more so because of how it makes me feel. And a lot of times things don't really work, the way I want them to go when it's not like something I love to do. So that's how I prioritize my stuff.
Okay. Okay. All right. And to close this thing out, if every go ahead, Aaron. Sorry.
Well, we didn't get a chance to touch on this, but when you reached out to me, and I saw the topic, and you said you were going to send the questions, um, I thought about, well, how do people define multiple streams of income?
That's a good question.
I really believe that in this time, in this season, multiple streams of income really should be redefined because, like I said, I've spent like the last year and a half, just revamping my company, and I've actually redefined what multiple streams of income meant to me. Um, and just to give an example, well, let me just say, I don't believe multiple streams of income means that you have multiple different businesses, because you can take one industry, or one area of your business. Let's just say, for instance, it's health and wellness. So with health and wellness, you can take that one product, and you can create multiple streams off of that one,
That's
such as
true.
courses, such as create a book, such as create a product, or even a clothing line or something like that. And I see so many people start and they don't finish because they're starting so many things, and they're like all over the place and don't have much structure. And I believe it's really because of the connotation or the notion of multiple streams of income. Everybody is looking for the streams, but the method and what the streams look like, is where I believe people are just lacking an understanding or a good strategy for how to.
Mhm.
So I did just want to add that, and I know Antoine is ready to take the baton.
He look like he ready to go.
That's what I meant by integration, right? If you think about it in a natural world, right? As I'm, like I said, sitting here on top of a mountain, streams turn into rivers. Streams come together, form greater momentum, pour into rivers, right? And then those rivers come together and pour into a basin. So when you really look at streams of income, if you want them to effectively run, they can't be 100% separate. And that's what I meant by integration early. As a consultant, right? Equity came from consulting. You know what I mean? My teaching job, I became a professor under the age of 30, but it was because of my consulting experience. My conferences, my public speaking, my training packages, a lot of my streams come from the same expertise delivered differently to a different target market. Okay. I'm teaching my college students the same thing at times that I'm teaching my life coaching clients. And the same thing I'm teaching my regular clients, right?
Same.
New startup. It's the same thing. And but when you turn around and that's why I say that mastery and expertise is so important. Because a true master, a true expert can deliver that knowledge to babes. And when you can figure out how to deliver that knowledge to different levels of understanding, you can automatically create different streams.
Okay. Well, I definitely learned a lot on this call here. So to close everything out, if you all would please one by one give, let's say a person comes to you and they know that they want to create multiple streams of income, but they have not started. They only have their job. They don't really have any streams of income and they have no clue where to start or what to do. What kind of tips or insight would you give to that person? I know that's a broad question.
I guess I'll start. Sasha, this is something I talk about often, right? It kind of goes back to purpose. And the fact that purpose is about your contribution to those around you and deciding the value you bring, right? But I often say there's 3 different types of purpose. There's the wind beneath your wings purpose. Those are the things like David is talking about when he's talking about, hey, I love this, I'm passionate about it, this is what I do, so it gets me up in the morning, right? There's the lock to your key purpose. These are things that when you step into an environment, people naturally come to you for. If you think about it from the time you were in school, there's certain parts of the project you found yourself doing all the time, right? And that locking the key purpose is kind of, you're the natural filler to this thing, right? And then I call it the last one, the sand in your oyster purpose. When you turn around and the oyster builds a pearl, a piece of sand dropped in, it annoyed it enough to continuously try to soothe that thing, right? And that sand in your oyster purpose is that thing, that problem that annoys you, that haunts you, and you cannot get it out of your mind. Even if you didn't think about it for a few months, it pops back in and you get the same emotion, right? Solving that problem can also be an income stream. So whether it's the beneath your wings, the lock to your key, or the sand in your oyster, look at those 3 areas and be like, okay, where do my strengths currently align with any of those things? How can I bring value to someone else based on my strengths? It's the problems that come with these things, right? And then actually growing an income stream from there. That way, the income stream at first doesn't feel like work, right? Because when you're truly walking in your purpose, what you're doing don't feel like work. What you're doing feels like an internal mandate that's in your spirit, something you have to get out, right? And that way you don't feel like you're dredging through sometimes. But I would say start by identifying what's those 3 areas.
Okay, well, I'll go next. I thought I was muted, my bad. So for me, when I work with the youth, I always ask them, what are they really passionate about? What are some of those things that just come natural to them? and what problem do they want to solve in the world. What are some of those pain points, in your journey that you've seen surface, and how did you solve some of those? And that's really a thought provoking exercise for them to just think and look within. Um, and what I've seen is that it helps them, just really talk about what's naturally inside of them that they can offer as a service or a solution to help other people. And then from there, I ask them to look at, do some market research. See what's out there in the market, who's doing what, and from there, let's start talking about setting your business up on a solid foundation, and getting a mentor. I think mentors are really good to have. They're vital. And also looking at a model of something that is already out there, that exists, that is doing, a lot of what you want to do or a little of what it is that you desire to do. And, start to create and innovate and just create your own. So those are some of the first, things that I would say to somebody that's looking to get started.
Okay.
I had a little background noise in my background. Do you mind repeating the question, please?
No, the question was no problem. The question was for the person who is trying to start income streams for the first time. They've never really started another income stream before. They're only used to income from their job. What kind of advice would you give them to get started on that journey?
Always, with people, like me who has families, with kids and, maybe even sometimes limited resources, I always recommend you find something that's popular that you can sell, that you can do from home for real, and let that be something or something you can do when you're working or out, when you come home from work, maybe you can find a hustle where it's very convenient for you to be able to sell it and to be able to receive the money, and to be able to provide the service. So, I talk to people about drop shipping. If they don't know much about anything, I talk to them about being able to sell a product. A lot of times they don't have no money either. And a lot of times you can still make money. You do need money to make money, but until you get there, you can still be able to sell all of my services. You can just take my whole little sales pitch and be able to be me out there, and I can show you how to be me out there by just selling a product that somebody wants, whichever one fits you the best. Take which one you like the best, and then go share it. And with that, you can be able to sell someone else's product. It's called drop shipping. And drop shipping is where you could, let's say I have these amazing herbs that cure cancer, and you knew 60 people that had cancer. You can take my product, which only costs $49, and sell it for $100 to those people who have cancer, and find a way to convince them that they need this product for cancer. And if you sold 100 of those, you just made, what's that, $5,000 or
10 grand.
50, 50 grand, something like that. Like, I don't know, like, what I'm trying to say is that you don't need the money or the product necessarily on hand to be able to sell something. I've seen this amazing deal on Groupon where they were teaching people how to, uh, grow herbs, and it's like you can literally go pay that $5, learn how to grow herbs, and then present the same beginner's course if you wanted to. You may not be the expert at that course, but you could have a beginner's course. And it's just so many ways you can do it.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for your participation in this panel. Before we officially close things out, does anyone have any questions for any of the panelists? Going once, going twice. Aaron, it looks like you were about to say something.
So I was just gonna ask, how do we connect with one another?
Absolutely, absolutely. So you already know how you can connect with me, David and Antoine. Do you want to share how we could stay connected with one another?
Phone number, on the Facebook that I would love to share with you. And my website is also simplysuperherbs.com, where you can get a ton of healing if anybody needed some help.
Okay.
For me, you can easily reach me via my email, aforeman, FOREMAN, at support the letter U.org. Or I'm currently building a page on Instagram called underground_kingmaker. I actually have a lot of my students on that page. I teach them on page, share information, but I'm actually going to open that page up to the public real soon.
Awesome. And we're already Facebook friends, so yeah, you can keep in touch with me there.
And y'all can find me on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook at Lady Erin Love.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. I even learned a lot on this call myself. Thank you. And I will be sending you the recording pretty soon. Yeah, I know how long this computer technology stuff can take. But again, thank you. And please enjoy your weekend. Antoine, you enjoy your mountains, your nice scenery. And you enjoy your food, your delicious food that you keep sending me. You trying to get me to cheat on my diet. You go ahead.
I was just sharing because we fellow foods, okay? That's all I was doing.
He be trying to trip me up. All right, you guys. I'm not going to keep you too much longer. You guys have a great weekend.
You too.
Bye.
Nice to meet y'all.